My dad. Just two simple words that mean nothing to anyone else. But when I say them, those two words become so much more. As a young man, Daddy was my hero, my protector, and security. As a young child, life experiences are all new. Some are fun and exciting, and others seem scary, even when they are not. And Dad taught me how to experience what life is all about by helping me conquer my doubts and my fears. I remember learning to enjoy the ocean. Dad would stand there with me and help me to jump the waves and easing my fear. Then he would take me out and he would float with me over the waves with him in his arms. Then Dad let me stand on my own, not interfering, but close enough to rescue me when I needed him. And that's the way my dad was my whole life, keeping me safe, yet letting me go slowly so I could stand on my own, yet there to catch me if I needed him. My dad, the hero. In 1977, I was 9 years old. At this time, Dad was driving an 18-wheeler. Man, how I love it. When he and Mom would let me ride along with him, there was nothing more exciting to me than to climb up in that big old truck with my dad. Once inside the cab, I would watch every move he made. Now, to a 9-year-old boy, the driver's side of an 18-wheeler looked like an airplane cockpit with all those switches, knobs, and gauges. Once Dad had turned on what needed to be on, he would turn the key and crank her up. There was nothing like hearing that motor fire up and looking in the mirror to see the black smoke rolling out the stacks. And Dad made sure it did. He would rev the motor and make the smoke roll. Then we would pull out, waving to Mom, and we were off. I'd watch Dad go through the gears, getting up to speed. Now, I know some of you may not understand that, and that's okay. But in 1977, there was a movie that came out. It was called Smokey and the Bandit. And to me, guess who was driving that truck? It wasn't Jerry Reed, it was my dad. And I was right there with him every time I got to go. Man, I was so proud. My dad drove an 18-wheeler. My dad was the hero, just like in the movie. My dad, a father's love. Now, as a teenager, I used to mow yards in the neighborhood for family and friends. I remember one summer, I was mowing our neighbor's yard when all of a sudden the lawnmower quit. So I tried to see what was wrong. I couldn't find anything wrong, so I walked back home to get Dad to come help. Well, during the same time this summer, I also like to hit golf balls in our backyard. The day before I mowed, and the mower broke, an unnamed accomplice, Charles Smith, and I were hitting balls in our backyard. Well, one of my shots went off target, no surprise, and it went towards the house. So we walked over to see if I'd hit the house or broke a window. But to my surprise, all was good, or so I thought. Now back to the mower. I walked in the house and told Dad I needed his help. So out to the car we go. We get in the car and Dad says, "Did you do that?" I looked over and right dead in the middle of the driver's side view was a ball mark on the windshield. Dad cranked the car and we drove to the yard where the mower was. We got out and walked to the lawnmower. Dad opened up the hood of the mower, looked to see if there was any oil in the motor, and says, "I see you didn't check to see if it needed oil, did you?" I had run the mower without any oil and the motor had blown. So on that day, Dad saw that I broke the car windshield and I blew up the lawnmower, and all he said was, That's my dad. My dad. My dad wanted me to succeed at whatever I did. Just ask Mom and Betsy Payne about our basketball games. Let's just say Dad was a very enthusiastic fan. Dad did not want to see us lose or get a bad call that might cost us the game. And so He would let the referees know just how he felt when they started giving us bad calls or things didn't go our way. When I turned 16 and got my driver's license, man, I was ready to go. Dad got me in the car and took me for a drive, and he looked at me and said, "Son, remember this. A car is nothing but a coffin on wheels." And that was it. We rode around the block and came back home. Nothing else was said the entire ride. Dad had made his point very loud and very clear. He told me to be careful in that one sentence, and I never forgot it. My dad, getting ready for my future. He never asked me where I was going to college. He never pushed me into a career. He let me choose my own path. He trusted and supported me in what I wanted to do. I'm sure he probably had his own thoughts and suggestions, but he allowed me to stand on my own. But I knew he was there to catch me if I was to fall or to fail. My dad becoming a grandfather. I watched my dad love my son. And through this, I began to understand just how much my dad loved me. To see Dad's face light up when Brayden would come around. To hear Dad laugh with and at Brayden and the things that he would do. To see the enjoyment and excitement of Dad's face when Brayden was coming around. And as Brayden grew older and the situations changed, Dad's love and excitement to see him never did. Even at the end, when Dad wasn't as alert in the hospital, I would tell him, "Brayden is coming to see you." He would open his eyes and look at me as if he was coming in right then. The day Brayden finally got home, Dad was resting in the hospital, and Brayden walked into the room, and Dad woke up. Eyes wide open, and then came that smile, and he said, "Hello, grandson." My dad showed me the love of a father and a grandfather. My dad. When visiting Dad at the nursing home, and it was just me and him, I would walk into the room, get a smile, and a "Hello, son. Good to see you." We would carry on a little small talk, and then we'd just sit there. No words were spoken, just silence. For you see, words did not need to be spoken or a conversation carried on. It was enough just to be there together, to be in the moment with my dad. Thank you, God, for giving me my dad.